Hello world, this is Acquire and Apply, and today we're going to install Elixir from source. So let's get into it. Alright, so I'm on my host machine, and we want to hop back into the container that we created in the previous video, which is YouTube mixtape. And let me run a custom command, set up some environment variables, try that again. Alright, so now we're inside of that container and we're ready to just install Elixir. So let's just do it. First thing we want to do is give ourselves a directory to put the Elixir source code into. And I'll just create this for now. And so now we've got that directory created. Let's go into GitHub and clone the Elixir source into this new directory. We want to clone that into our new directory. Don't have Git installed, so let's go get that. And this will happen, right? You'll be going through stuff and you'll be trying to do something. You'll try to, do something and you just won't have something there because we're in a container. We're not on our host machine. And so you'll just have to run out and go grab something. Like in this case, I had to go grab Git. So, all right, so we've got Git. Let's try that again. And so at this point, what we're going to do is we're going out to GitHub, we're pulling down the source, and we're cloning it into that directory that we created. Got a couple of text messages in. Sorry about those dings. There's another one. All right. So again, I'm on a hotspot. I'm out here in Hawaii, so this is taking a little bit. Your time will vary. You'll probably be able to pull this down a lot quicker, but let's give this another minute. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just source code, so it shouldn't take quite as long. But it's getting there. We're almost there. Almost there. Whew. Always takes the longest time whenever you're trying to record something. Okay, so we got the source code. So the next thing we need to do is hop into that directory that we created. All right, and we can see all the source code is here. So the next step that we need to do is we need to just like go and inspect, just like we did with Erlang. We just need to go and inspect what versions there are of Elixir and which version we want to compile, right? So just use get here, and we'll do tag, and we'll just list out the tags. Oops, sorry. Uh, let's list out the tag. So it starts at, as you can see, old version 0.10. Just work our way down here. Looks like we're getting pretty close to recent stuff. This is all recent stuff now. Okay. All right. So the latest is 1.6.0, release candidate 0. So let's just go back. Let's just do version 1.5.1. Let's just go grab that. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to basically check out version 1.5.1, and we want to check that out to our own branch. At this point, we can just give any branch name we want. I'll just say my branch here. Okay, so we've switched over to my branch, and now we just need to compile it. So use make for this. We'll compile it, and then we'll run all the tests that are under the Elixir project for version 1.5.1. And looks like eScript is not available. And I think that's because, yeah, when we installed Erlang, we only linked and exposed the Earl command. We didn't expose anything else. So let's go, let me link that out from okay. And while I'm here, actually, eScript is one of the programs that Elixir uses to do its compilation. And I know for a fact that it also uses the Erlang compiler. So let me go ahead and link that out as well while I'm here. And okay, so so now that those are linked out, and we're still on our branch, right? We're still on our branch. So now let's try and run that command again. Okay. So at this point, it's going through and assessing the system, and now it's going through and compiling all of the source for Elixir version 1.5.1. Once it's done compiling, it's going to then go through and run all of the tests that it has under its test suite. And it's pretty rare. Like, I think of all the times that I've installed Elixir, I've seen there's some warnings there. That's fine. It's normal. But all the times that I've installed Elixir, I think I may have seen it maybe 2 or 3 times where it's actually gotten through all of the tests and all the tests have actually passed. Usually, there's a handful of tests that that fail, and that's totally fine. So I'll just this is the part that takes a little bit of time. to compile that I've noticed when I've done this, when I've installed Elixir this way. But again, not too long. It shouldn't be too long. Man. Of course, whenever I say it shouldn't take long, it takes long, right? And I'm recording. But we'll give it another minute. Looks like the Erlang port mapper daemon is another little application that is in the Erlang ecosystem. The Erlang port mapper daemon is one of these core applications that are responsible. One of the things that is responsible for Erlang distribution, allowing Erlang nodes to talk to each other. And so it's complaining. Elixir's complaining right now that that particular program is not exposed to the system, so it can't find it. I think that should be okay, though. As you can see, just above that, 197 tests passed for the Elixir app, and then IEX. And okay, so now we're running tests. These are all the tests that, I guess the 197 tests that, or even more tests that I passed. Each green dot is a passing test. And now it's telling us about the tests that are either failing or invalid, I think. Yeah. Some more passing tests. We'll let it finish running the tests. You don't necessarily have to run the test. You could just do a make clean, and that will just do a compile, and then you can be done and not have to do this part. But, I typically like to do this just to kind of get a feel for what's going on. Okay, so looks like we're all done. It had trouble running another test target in the make file, but that's fine. At this point, we've compiled Elixir version 1.5.1. And so now, if we go into our bin directory, you can see that there's Elixir there, Elixir C, IEX, and Mix. And these are really the main binaries that make up the Elixir, the core pieces of Elixir that use Erlang underneath. And so as long as you can, run IEX, which we can't at this point because it's not an exposed command. So running it locally here in this directory, right, you get to the REPL for Elixir. And as you can see, it's 1.5.1. We can just run a little Elixir command, right? So all good. But the final step here, don't want to have to obviously do that every time. So the final thing that we need to do is we need to expose these core pieces of Elixir to the broader system, like we did with Erlang. And again, just set up some links for this. So we'll link symbolically to Elixir, then, and then we'll just do IEX first, and we'll expose that to user local bin IEX. All right. We'll do the same thing for mix. Okay. And the other one's Elixir. All right. And then finally, the Elixir compiler. All right. So at this point, get back to the root here. And now we should just be able to fire up IEX. We're good there. Okay, mix. Same thing. So now we actually have Elixir installed and running, or able to run on this inside this container. We've also brought in Git, and so what I'll do is I'll just, again, take this opportunity, I'll hop out of the container and commit this back as okay. So it's, at this point, we're still on our host machine, and the YouTube mixtape container should now contain Erlang, Elixir, and our ancillary commands that we need, things like curl and less and git. It should all be contained in that container. So let's hop in there and just first let's look at the history of the container. This is another way you can sort of verify what's going on. And so yeah, it's got all of our commits there that we've done so far. Okay, so let's hop in there. Let's hop back in. All right, so Earl, good. Erlang's still here, all good with that. IEX, Elixir's here, so we're good, right? I mean, at this point, we have Erlang and Elixir installed, and I think I'm just going to call it a video right there. In the next video, we're going to install Emacs, right? We need a development environment. Now we have the programming language, we have the platform, we need a development environment, and and more importantly, we need an environment that's going to allow us to move quickly. So, going to get Emacs installed, going to get it configured in the next video. So, yeah, stay tuned.